So another high-profile man has been caught cheating, and predictably the internet piled in. First he denies it, then came the forced apology to his wife, his children and the world. And finally he has to resign from his job. And just like that, he's lost everything and become a meme for the next 5 years. I always hate it when this happens. I'd love for a man to just stand there totally unapologetic and own it. Yep, I've cheated. I haven't had sex for years in my marriage, and I decided that I didn't sign up to be a priest. There it is. Does it have any bearing on the job I do? And no, I will not be resigning. And across the world, millions of men would finally see a man stand up for himself. Instead, we get another man cowering, begging, apologising for being a toxic man who lacked self-control. I recognise this story all the time. In my 38 years of coaching people, I've had these conversations far too often. We live in a time where if a woman is caught cheating, it's often framed as her finding herself and completely forgivable. But when a man does it, he's vilified, full stop. How often have you heard a woman apologise for cheating or be made to apologise publicly? It just never happens. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen it. I can't remember a single time. Now, I'm not attacking women here. Now, what if I told you he might not be the villain here? If you've been a good husband, if you've been a good father, and you still find yourself constantly rejected, then you're not alone. Go back and read some of the comments in my Sexless-Marriage video. If you go down them, there's hundreds. This isn't rare, it's absolutely epidemic. I know it personally because I lived in a sexless marriage for years. And this situation is what I call the demoted lover's dilemma. You started out with hot Latin liaisons and now you're getting the cold shoulder in Iceland. You were her lover and now you're the unpaid handyman. You're a plough horse provider. You're resented no matter what you do. And then eventually the demoted lover becomes her loyal brother. Now, we're always told that the wife is the victim, especially when a man cheats. But here's what nobody ever says out loud. Just because she's the wife doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows. Just because she's pretty doesn't mean that she's easy to live with. You can be loyal, faithful, providing, and still be met with coldness, rejection, and even outright contempt. You often hear, but his wife is so beautiful. Doesn't matter. If there's zero connection, it's like having a Ferrari in your garage that never starts. It looks great, but it's useless in real life. That's not a marriage, that's a silent war. A marriage, in my view, is like having a farm. You're both looking to build it. There's certain fields you're planting over here and you tend them and you try to make things grow. And once they've all grown over here, you harvest it. And then you go and you start the cycle over again. And somewhere in the centre of that farm, there used to be a paddock. And inside it was a stallion and a filly, two wild creatures who danced, ran, played and liaised. But over time, kids, duty, expectations, that stallion isn't there to run anymore. He's yoked, he's burdened, he's turned into a plough horse now. And you know what happened to him? Inside he starts dying, not all at once, but just slowly. Every time he's met with contempt, every time he's rejected, every time he gives more and gets less. Slowly he walks to the edge of that paddock. He lies down under a tree and dies just a little bit more. But here's the thing they don't tell you. That stallion still has another choice. He can jump the fence. He can remember who he was before he became somebody else's beast of burden. He can go run with the other wild Mustangs again. Not because he's reckless, not because he's selfish, but because he's still alive inside. And he refuses to die standing still. Okay, and then there's her, the mistress. People love to moralise. They call you weak, broken, selfish. But let me tell you something. It's already easy to be moralistic, to judge people if you've never been tempted. Try walking through the valley of darkness for years, like some of these men. Look in the comments. Some men have been in it for 20 years. They've tried everything. Therapy, conversations, date nights, books. They bought everything, done everything. Nothing changed. Then one day you see a slither of light. She smiles at you. She laughs. She looks at you like you matter. And for the first time in years, you feel alive. That's not evil, that's just human. It doesn't excuse the betrayal, but it does start to explain it. And if we don't start understanding why men fail, we're never going to teach them how to rise again. So and that's the part where she appears, the mistress. She's amazing, right? She's the soulmate he should have had. Sorry, she's not real life. She's a performance. First of all, she's always on her best behaviour. She's wearing her best underwear. She's using her best tricks. You think that that's who she really is. She's not cooking you breakfast with morning breath. She's not nagging you about the bins. She's not showing up stressed after the school run. No, she's a curated highlight reel designed to hook a man who's drowning in rejection. You see the bait and bite down hard and now you're hooked. So before we go crowning either one, your wife or your mistress, as either a saint or a saviour, we need to understand the real battle is inside you. It's nothing to do with them. Will you betray your values or will you rebuild your identity? There are the two choices you really have. Now, I think it all comes down to illusions. About 10 years ago, I'm in the gym and I'm training with a group of guys. And this stunning young girl walks in. She's laughing and she's smiling. She's an easy 9. She's got a perfect figure and a face that makes everybody's stomach flip. And instantly, all the guys' attention's gone. They're like, shh, it's like meerkats. 6 of them almost in unison. I could hear it. I think I love her. It was that killer line out of Suits. But none of us even knew her name. We didn't know who she was. We didn't know what she valued. We had no idea how she treated people. We didn't know anything, nothing at all. She was just a screen we were all projecting our fantasy onto. We knew nothing about her. The fantasy of a perfect life. Oh, she must be great sex. Oh, I can imagine her in a white dress, beautiful children, a honeymoon that never ends. And in that moment, it hit me. She wasn't the illusion, we were. She wasn't the illusion, we were. Our loneliness, our desires, our unmet needs, our own stories, somehow we instantly projected onto her canvas. It's a little bit like Lester from American Beauty. He's trapped in that sexless, lifeless marriage. He buys a fast car, he lifts weights and he chases the fantasy. But he didn't really want the girl. He wanted to feel alive again. And that's where I think the real crux of this is, and the real danger. It's not just sex we're craving. It's the connection, the validation, the significance, the right woman to stand beside us as we conquer the world. And when your wife withdraws and a woman like that enters into your world, you're mistaking the fantasy for salvation, but you're not really seeing her. You're seeing your own unmet needs reflected back at you. And if you don't wake up to that, you'll throw away your life for a moment of illusion. That's it. Now, many good men, they live in silent rejection. They do more, they help more, they carry the family. And slowly they get pushed lower and lower and lower until they're the least important person in their own life. Cheating, from all the guys that I've spoken to, it's rarely about sex. It's wanting to feel wanted again. So how does this happen? Sometimes it's hormones, resentment, life stresses, mismatched libido. In my experience, it often starts after children. One of my Scandinavian clients, she told me, we were always taught sex is something that both of you enjoy. She'd noticed British women often treat it as a duty just to have kids. And that mindset is a relationship killer. But the deeper problem is the emotional power that's shifting. The man becomes the provider, no longer her lover. And over time, that gap gets longer and wider and it becomes contempt. Men bottle it up. They stay quiet, they push it down, and they're stoically going through life and providing for their family. Then one day, boom, affair. Collapse, divorce, regret. Or worse, he stays, he shrinks, and he dies slowly. Still loyal to a woman who stopped seeing him years ago. So there's the trap. Stay and die slowly, or break out and burn everything down. Let me ask you, what do you really want? An affair? An affair is where you're always hiding. You can't go on holiday together. You can't hold hands in public. No late night phone calls just to have a chat. No walking through the park like a real couple. No cuddles at a concert where there's a kiss cam. You just get to get your nut off and then it's over. And then you go back to Iceland and prep your lies. That's not freedom. That's borrowed time in a beautiful prison. We've talked a lot over the last 16 videos about having a code. That code starts with honesty with yourself. Let me ask this question, is this marriage worth it? If you're giving everything and being met with disrespect and contempt, she's already left the building. She's no longer your wife. She just hasn't signed the paperwork yet. You reclaim you. So what now? What happens when you realise cheating is just another trap? But staying means death by slow erosion. You've got a third path. That's where the Phoenix rock star comes in. Go and watch that video next. Because this is the moment where the old you has to die and the new one gets to be built. A man who doesn't crawl back or creep away. He rises from the fire, reborn. And when you walk into the room again, everybody knows that something's changed. And sometimes your wife will notice too. She'll say, you've changed, I don't recognise you. But what she really means is, you're no longer compliant. You're not doing what I want. And guess what? She might be attracted to that because you're re-establishing who you really are on the inside. And remember, this channel is about you rising. Now, the second path, this one takes serious courage. The day I left was the hardest day of my life. It was manipulated. My son was undoubtedly damaged by it. But here's what I had to learn. You're not leaving your children. You're leaving her. And that is a real distinction that you need to understand. And so do your children need to understand that distinction, because she'll make out that Daddy left us. He didn't, he left her. You're standing in the hallway, the suitcase is in one hand and your son's photograph is in the other. And that's the moment you betray your truth, or you reclaim your soul. If you had to create a marriage, what would it look like? What would it be like? Truthfully, if you had to recreate a marriage, what would it look like? Think of it as a two-person cake. Right now, it's a one-person cake, and with one person giving all the ingredients and making cake after cake after cake and not sharing them while you put in all the work. If she wants this, then you want this, and the cake is a complementary mix of what you both want. Did you seriously say, I want no sex, I want to be treated with utter contempt, I want to be the least important person in the room, and I want to pay for the privilege? I'm pretty much guessing you didn't. Now, before you do anything, there's some housekeeping. You need to run the numbers. That's the most important thing. The best situation I've ever seen is a couple who realised it wasn't working. They rented a flat very close by, 2-bed flat, both doors had locks on them. The children stayed in the house and the parents swapped time, and one of them would be living at the flat while the other one was living with the children. Obviously, separate bedrooms and the least effect on the kids, and it gives the parents space. But this couple had a lot of money. So before you do anything, seek advice from a lawyer or a solicitor. Get in the comments and tell me your thoughts about what I've been talking about. If you've had an affair, share it. Tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of it. If you have a strong moral stance on it, express it, but also offer a solution for the men who could be stuck in a horrible marriage. And if you ever get caught on a kiss cam, own it. I'm betting if he just turned around and kissed her, no one would have batted an eyelid. No one would have even known he's at the concert. So man up and take it unapologetically. He took the risk by taking his mistress enough of this public cowardice. From this moment forwards, no more silences, no more lies, just the truth and the fire to rise. Brothers, I hope you enjoyed this video.